television CK, YouTube, Musha, subscribe, yes, I had YouTube, Musha, cross rise, what you are logo. Uncle Machine again, Mofia,
What's up, guys? How is it going? Thank you so much for clicking this video, and if you have not yet subscribed to Television CK, what are you waiting for? Please be part of this amazing family by hitting the subscribe button down there, and when you are done, also be sure to hit the notifications button. Now what is that is every single time we make any new uploads on our channel, you'll be notified of it so you don't miss a thing. And to our revisiting subscribers, I'd like to say a very big thank you to all of you. Now, a close confidant of the late former president of Ghana, Jerry John Rawlings, has revealed some information to the public, and according to him, the Dr. Hilla Limann government tormented and arrested Rawlings. So, after peacefully handing over power to them in 1979, Jerry John Rawlings was apparently tormented by the Hilla Limann government. So Nilaye Afote Agbo, who happens to be a confidant of the late president, disclosed in an interview that Rawlings was harassed, monitored and arrested by the Limann government. He revealed that Rawlings, after handing over power, was not allowed to re-enter the military, so he went into farming to cure his boredom. He said Rawlings went into farming because of boredom, that immediately after handing power over to the new government, he and his colleagues were asked to go out of the country to study. Now the others took the money and left the country, but Rawlings didn't know what to do, and he wasn't allowed to go back into the Air Force. So he decided instead to go farming with people from Temanu town, people from Nungwa, Madina, and even some from Nima. Now his main focus was to farm. There was no violence involved, there was no guns or weapons involved, or there were no guns or weapons on the farm. Now, according to Afote Agbo, who happens to be part of the June 4th revolution, he said that the Limann government suspected Rawlings of recruiting and training soldiers to unseat the government, and therefore they arrested him. A different meaning was read into his farming at Katamanso, with claims that he was training people to overthrow the government. According to him, Rawlings went through a lot, and he was even put under surveillance by the Limann government. He was being followed on a daily basis, and there was never a moment that he was alone. One day he was arrested at Katamanso as he was going to the farm and was held for the entire day, and they did what they wanted with him. He also revealed the role that Cuba played in Rawlings' release from prison, and disclosed that the attempts by Rawlings to seek redress from the court proved futile. So before handing over power, Rawlings apparently never visited any neighboring country. The only country he visited before handing over power to Limann was Cuba, so the bond between him and Cuba was very strong. He literally had the support of the people of Cuba, or the president of Cuba at the time. So there was apparently a call from Cuba that if he was harmed by the sitting government, they would not have it easy, and that was what compelled the sitting government at the time to let him go. Nilaye Afote Agbo also lamented over the fact that someone who peacefully handed over power to a government because of the decision by the people of Ghana was being tormented. He said that they went to court for redress, but the court declared that if the government felt that Rawlings' movement was suspicious or that his movement was a problem to the government, they had every right to place him under surveillance. So basically, the court allowed the government to chase him around. Now, after Rawlings was arrested, he stopped coming to Katamanso because his people over there were being targeted, and he decided that if all these people were going through what they were going through because of him, then it's best if he stays away from them. So on 31st December 1981, the late Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings launched a second coup to overthrow the Hilla Limann's People's National Party. Now, Rawlings, with the support of a small group of enlisted former soldiers, overthrew the Limann government to end corruption, wrath, and abuse of power that, in their view or in their opinion, had become the order of the day in Ghana. Now, Rawlings is remembered to have quoted, "The rich became richer, including the high military officers, and most of us were starving. I've always wanted to do something to correct injustice." Now, remember, Rawlings launched a first attack on June 4th, 1979 against General F.K. Akufu, which Rawlings stated would have been his last coup if the leaders learned their mistakes. So according to Rawlings, there would have never been a second coup if after the first one the leaders learned that, the leaders stopped being corrupt, or they stopped their corruption and their abuse of power. However, soon after he handed over power, the indiscipline that Rawlings sought to have kicked out was still predominant. Hence, this warranted his second coup d'etat on 1981, which he called Limann and his supporters, a pack of criminals who bled Ghana to the bone. Now, this was Rawlings' last coup before he was elected the first president of the Fourth Republic of Ghana in 1992. Now, one of Hilla Limann's children, Dr. Hilla Limann, in an interview a couple of years back said despite the history between her family and Rawlings, there's no, bad blood between the two. However, when asked by the interviewer, Black Rasta, if should Rawlings pass today, she would visit or she would attend Rawlings' funeral because Rawlings had actually attended her father's funeral. She said that, when it comes to funerals and stuff like that, there has to be a personal relationship between you and the deceased or the family of the deceased for you to attend. And since she and Rawlings does not have, any personal relationship, she does not think she would visit Rawlings' funeral. So in January 2018, Dr. Hilla Limann, the daughter of the former president of the Third Republic of Ghana, Dr. Hilla Limann, revealed that she was never going to attend the funeral of Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings should he die. Dr. Hilla Limann made this known while speaking to Black Rasta, and in an answer to the question posed to her if she will attend Rawlings' funeral when she is alive before he dies, since that's Rawlings, attended her father's funeral. And according to her, in attending someone's funeral, there should be a link between the two parties, and she has no link with Jerry John Rawlings. She says she doesn't know him like that, so to go to his funeral, she thinks that's really a personal thing, that she will have to have known him or his family, or there has to be a link or whatever between the two before it will cross her mind. So despite histories, despite the fact that history has recorded a sour relationship between the Limanns and the Rawlingses, according to Hilla Limann, there's no bad blood between the two families. However, after Rawlings died and his funeral rites were being observed in Ghana a couple of days ago, Dr. Hilla Limann was not present. So true to her words and coupled with checks by Ghanaians, she really did not attend Rawlings' funeral event as stated earlier, and despite admitting that there is no bad blood between the Limanns and the Rawlingses. So yeah, guys, there you have it. According to this close confidant of the late former president of Ghana, Jerry John Rawlings, he said Rawlings was, tortured. He was placed under surveillance. He was tortured, arrested, and only God knows what happened to him after he was arrested for suspicion of planning another coup d'etat. Years later, that's back in 2018, his daughter, that's Hilla Limann's daughter, was interviewed by Black Rasta, and she was asked if Rawlings be. But that doesn't mean that there's bad blood or there's any feud or anything like that between the two families. Just that she doesn't have any personal relationship with Rawlings or any member of his family to attend his funeral. And true to her words, after Rawlings died, all 3 or 4 days that Rawlings was being buried and his funeral rites were held, we are not really saying it's directly linked to the the history between Rawlings and her dad from back in the day. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. This is all there is to today's video. I hope you did like it. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up and leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Television CK if you have not already done so. Until we meet again in the next video, please stay safe.